become airborne.
Or if you spray the wall.
If you spray the
it
wall,
will temporarily,
it temporarily is wet.
Temporarily.
You wet it down, and then if you spray paint it.
And this company was willing to subject its people to that kind of danger?
Well, you know, they'd signed a contract probably worth $400,000 or $500,000.
But those
they're
people,
committed to it.
But those people are now at grave risk.
Yes.
From exposure to asbestos.
Yes.
Do you remember the name of that company?
I believe it was called, it was based in Southampton. I believe it was called like CCL or something. I can find it out. CCL.
They should be alerted.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they knew. They knew. So I don't know, they had like rather secretive negotiations with them. I don't know if they offered them more money. I don't know how they, because when they came to the ship they were outraged and then they were going to pull off and then they agreed to work on the ship. But, you know, under the conditions that if, you know, when the asbestos was found, these guys would run over and spray it and wet it.
So they finished their project?
No, I wouldn't say. I would say that things went badly with them, and no, they, you know, the ship, their workers were extremely unhappy. I mean, I remember they would sleep in the cabins wearing these dust masks, you know, and I remember talking to the workers, and they're going, they were English, you know, I was English, they were English, and we were kind of friends, and they were befuddled, you know, like. They were worried about their health, they were worried about our health. They were like, if this is Scientology, what are you people doing? And they were like, we want out of here. They were so unhappy, so unhappy. And they were like, we've got wives and kids, you know. So I would say they just stayed a few weeks and then things fell apart, you know. There were arguments about the work, the materials weren't arriving on time. There were a number of factors, but they left. They left in October 1987.
1987.
Yeah. And the ship was so far from complete. It wasn't, you know, they did hardly any work, really. It was so far from complete. So then the people running the ship had this bright idea, let us recruit from Los Angeles, from Clearwater, from anywhere in the United States, Scientology carpenters, metal workers, plumbers, electricians. Let us have our own work crew of, like, not SEAL members, but public Scientologists, anyone who's to do with contracting. Let us bring these people on the ship. We'll pay, you know, they'll get full room and board and stay in the cabins, and then they will be paid like $800 a week tax-free, you know, because it's in the Caribbean, and they will work and finish the ship. And then they were controllable because they were Scientologists, you know, they couldn't. They had ways to control them. You know, they are not allowed to sue the church. There is no legal recourse if you're a Scientologist unless you agree to be kicked out of the church.
Did any of these people ever voice an objection to being subjected to asbestos?
No, they didn't seem remotely worried about it. I mean, some of them, I don't know.
Were they told? Were they aware of it?
No one pointed it out to them, for sure. No one said, look, this is asbestos, guys. Time to freak out. But some of them, as they worked in construction, I can't imagine, didn't know.
Did you ever tell anybody?
I don't think I ever told. I don't think I discussed it with them.
Do you remember any of the names of these people?
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, I could reconstruct a list.
They should be warned.
They should be warned, yeah. They should be, and there were maybe 100 of them. So anyway, they then got to work, and the ship was just finished up. And then, you know, all the new furnitures arrived, new carpet, all the stuff arrived, air freighted from Miami, brought on the island, and then all the paneling was put back. But, you know, for example, the decks would have like long corridors, and then, you know, you'd have the steel deck, and then you'd have the layer of asbestos, and all the pipes running in that, and then you'd have like a false ceiling with more asbestos tiles in like a metal, supported in a metal grid, and that would be the finish that you'd see. But this wasn't airtight, you know, there'd be like channels, and the ceiling would sit in it, It's not airtight. So all the asbestos flaking and falling apart was out of sight, but, you know, it would be leaking through these panels. And then a ship at sea, you know, I mean, I went to sea in that ship, it shuddered, it shook, it vibrated, you know. Ships, it's like an aircraft, it shakes, it rattles. So all of that asbestos that has been tampered with is loose, shaking to this day. You know, and then of course on a ship they're always doing repair work, so they take the panels down, you know, fix the pipe, put the panel back.
This is just horrible.
It's horrible, it's a nightmare.
So everybody who goes onto the Freewinds to do OT8 is at deadly risk of cancer from asbestos.
Yes.
How is it that that no health inspectors have discovered this, or has the ship never come back into U.S. waters?
No, the ship never ever comes into U.S. waters. It sails to a few islands in the Caribbean. I believe it's been up to Ensenada, Mexico.
But you know, David Miscavige in senior management, someone in management or one of their attorneys must be aware of this asbestos danger.
Well, yes, they would. I mean, I was on the ship when Miscavige and all those people would come to it. You know, they would come to it before the renovations were complete, and they would come in the company of Biddy Miscavige, and so you know they could see the whole thing ripped apart. So whether Biddy chose to tell them or
she must have reported this.
Yes, I would say so.
So they all know.
I would say they definitely do know. Yes. And it horrifies me to think of hundreds of public who go on vacation and go to do courses who are being subjected to this risk without their permission, you know, without, like, if I said to you, Stacy, let's go visit Chernobyl, you'd say, wait a minute, that's a nuclear power station that exploded and is like contaminated for the next 1,000 years. I choose not to go there.
Right.
But people would, and as far as I'm concerned, asbestos is as dangerous as radioactive contamination. Maybe even worse. But like, and if they said to someone, hey, come and cruise on this ship, you know, you are going to be exposed to contamination that can cause you cancer, do you still want to come? It's a no-brainer, but of course people don't know. You know,
it's just horrible.
Would you come with your asbestos testing equipment, meters and laboratories? No.
How would a person know if they've been endangered, if this asbestos is in their lungs?
Well, I believe that, I'm not sure medically, you know, I'm not trained in medicine, but I believe you can have a particular type of X-ray on which these particles would show up. And so I would suggest, you know, I'm still worried about it to this day because I was on the ship for a year in the worst periods, and I still, you know, go on the internet and read about the hazards of asbestos, and I think, well, should I go for an X-ray? And then I have nightmares of dying of the horror, how horrible it must be to die of lung cancer. And I know, for example, that if you smoke, I've read that, you know, if you're exposed to asbestos, don't smoke, because that can make it even worse. So I never smoke, and I avoid any other kind of lung contamination. But of course I live in LA with smog, you know. But now I'm thinking, you know, I should, part of me doesn't want to know. I don't want to know how much asbestos do I have in my lungs. You know, because I have 2 daughters and a granddaughter. I don't want to die in 10 years of lung cancer. I don't. Part of me, I don't even want to know. But part of me says I should go and have it checked, you know, because maybe they can be removed or flushed out, or maybe, you know, I take antioxidants, and I take vitamin E, and I take, you know, but I mean, I know that like antioxidants help you with free radicals in food. Can they do anything about little microscopic hooks in your lungs? You know, and if I feel short of breath or something, I think, uh-oh, is it my time? You know, it's like, I live with it. And then all those other people there live with it, you know, they don't even know. You know, so I'm thinking now when I go back to LA, I will get tested, you know. Maybe they have advanced technology body testing, I don't know.
I think you should.
I would like to know.